time because you have reached Red Steele's Toy Clip Review. I'm your man, Red Steele, and today is a very special day because today is my 200th review. And I'm kicking off with a big one because I acquired Transformers Dramatic Capture Series, the Decepticon Nemesis Bridge. Next, I'm going to go ahead and unbox the Decepticon Nemesis Bridge Set. First, I'm going to go ahead and grab my trusty scissors. Top of the packaging here. Go ahead and cut this tape right there. Just to reveal another package. Go ahead and pull this out because it appears that this black box was just the outer shell. Pull this out. Take that black box put it off to the side. I'm going to go ahead and go over this packaging. But before I get to the actual reviews, I want to go over some of the spectacular details on this packaging. Up in the corner, you have the Transformers More Than Meets the Eye logo. In the other corner here, you have the Takara Tomy logo. In the middle here, you have a beautiful illustration of Shockwave, Megatron, Laserbeak, and Soundwave. Down here in the corner, you have Dramatic Capture Series Nemesis Bridge. On top of the packaging here, you have the Transformers More Than Meets the Eye logo. In the center here, you have Dramatic Capture Series Nemesis Bridge. In the other corner here, you have the Takara Tomy logo. On the side of the packaging here, again, it says Dramatic Capture Series Nemesis Bridge. And it says the exact same thing on the other side. On the back of the packaging here, on the very top, you have Shockwave, Megatron sitting on his Nemesis throne, and you have Soundwave. Down here you have the Transformers More Than Meets the Eye logo. In the center here you have Dramatic Capture Series Nemesis Bridge. Then down here you have all the figures featured such as Megatron in his robot mode, Megatron in his tank mode, Shockwave in his ship mode, Shockwave in his robot mode. Then down here you have Soundwave in his cassette player mode, Soundwave in his robot mode, and you have Laserbeak in his tape mode, Laserbeak in his Condor mode, and in the corner here you have the Nemesis throne. Now I'm going to go ahead and open the box up. Let me see if I can find a tape here. And there's no tape. It's just another sleeve. Perhaps maybe another box I need to open up. No, it looks like it's just a sleeve that slides out. Just like this. Put that off to the side. A lot of packaging with this set. So there's a flap that just pulls open to reveal the Nemesis Bridge Set. Pretty cool. Looks like you have Megatron up here. And in the picture, I pictured Megatron more of a white or silver. Kind of a metallic luster here. Pretty cool. You got the throne here. The throne's very familiar for you Studio Series fans, but it's the same throne that comes with Starscream. Shockwave looks a little different. Looks like he's more of a purple color, more to match the animated model from the cartoon series. You got, of course, Laserbeak, you got Soundwave's weapons, and you have the Netflix exclusive Soundwave that people in the US couldn't get their hands on unless you got that limited run in Walmart. But fortunately, we were able to get our hands on him again before he was reproduced. I believe he's going to be released either for Legacy or Studio Series. I'm not too sure. But I'm going to go ahead and put this together for you guys and get to the next step of the review. Transformers Dramatic Capture Series, the Decepticon Nemesis Bridge. But before I get to the actual review, I just want to go over some of the spectacular details on this packaging. Up in the corner you have the Takara Tomy logo. In the middle here you have an Autobot symbol, and below that it says Transformers Dramatic Capture Series. Then down here it says the Decepticon Nemesis Bridge, Megatron, Shockwave, and Soundwave. In the corner here you have the 15 plus, which is the age requirement for this figure. In the middle here it says authentic Takara Tomy product as sold in Japan. In the corner you have the Hasbro logo. Then on top of the packaging here it says Transformers Dramatic Capture Series authentic Takara Tomy product as sold in Japan. On the bottom here it says the exact same thing. Then on the side of the packaging here, on the side you have Transformers Dramatic Capture Series, and below that it says authentic Takara Tomy product as sold in Japan. Over here it says the Decepticon Nemesis Bridge, Megatron, Shockwave, and Soundwave. And it says that exact same thing on the other side of the packaging. Then on the back of the box here, starting in the corner, you have the Takara Tomy logo. Right here in the middle, you have Transformers Dramatic Capture Series. Then down here it says the Decepticon Nemesis Bridge, Megatron, Shockwave, and Soundwave. And over here it says authentic Takara Tomy product as sold in Japan, includes 4 figures, 5 pieces, and instructions. In the corner here you have the Hasbro logo. Transformers Dramatic Capture Series, the Nemesis Bridge Set. The Nemesis Bridge Set was released on March 30th, 2024 with the suggested retail price of $109.99, and it was available at select retailers. Megatron is a Generation 1 inspired figure that converts into his tank mode in 21 steps. His accessories include a captain's chair, fusion cannon, tank turret spear, and instructions. Shockwave is also a Generation 1 inspired figure that converts into a Cybertronian spaceship mode in 15 steps. Soundwave is also a Generation 1 inspired figure that converts into his cassette player mode in 21 steps. His accessories include a blaster, sonic cannon, and concussion blaster. Laserbeak is also a Generation 1 inspired figure that converts into his mini cassette mode in 4 steps. The Nemesis Bridge Set is meant for fans ages 15 and up. Now I'm going to go ahead and convert Laserbeak from his cassette mode all the way to his robot mode. The first step of that transformation, you want to turn Laserbeak all the way around. Get these little silver pieces right here. You want to go ahead and flip them out just like that. Do it to the other side, flip that piece out just like that. Step number 2, you want to go and turn Laserbeak all the way around here. Get these wings right here. You want to go and flip them out just like that. And take the other wing and flip it out just like that. Step number 3. This little black piece right in the middle of his back right here. I'm going to pry it and flip it out just like that. Laserbeak's 4th and final step. Get the little silver piece right on this rear end right here. I'm going to flip it up just like that. And now you have Laserbeak in his full condor mode. Next, I'm going to go ahead and convert Soundwave from his robot mode all the way to his cassette mode. But the first thing you always want to do for your Transformer, any of your Transformers, you want to remove all the weapons and accessories. So I'm going to go ahead and take his concussion blaster, put it off to the side. For the first step of the transformation, you want to take his sonic cannon and unpeg it and put it off to the side. Step number 2, get these fists. They're on a hinge joint and forms are hollowed out. So you swing the fist right into the form just like that. Go and do that to the other side. Take that fist and swing it right into the form just like that. Step number 3. You want to take Soundwave right at the torso and go rotate him all the way around just like that. Step number 4. Get this backpack right here. I'm going to flip it down just like that. Step number 5. I want to take Soundwave's head and flip it right into his back, just like that. In step 6, you want to take this backpack again and bring it up just like this. Step number 7, you're going to rotate the form so these pieces are on the outside, just like that. Go and do it to the other side to this form, and put out just like that. Step number 8. Get a little tab on the back of the shoulder right here. On his back, you have a porthole right here. Get a hinge joint right here. What they're going to want you to do next is untab the shoulder, swing it around so this tab goes right into that porthole, just like that. Do that to the other side. Go and untab it, swing it around, and bring the shoulder in just like that. Now for step number 9. Get this piece right here. You got a tab, you got a porthole. So we bring these forearm pieces together, just like that. Step number 10. You want to go and turn Soundwave all the way around. On the back of his legs, you'll see a couple panels right there and right there. What you want to go do next is pull his tab up. Swing his panel up just like that. Do it to the other side. This panel, swing it up just like that. Now for step number 11. You Those panels you just flipped up, you have a white piece right here. There's a hinge joint, you just want to flip it out just like that. You want to do it to the other side, flip this white piece out, just like that. Step number 12. When a sound wave, you have his feet right here. You want to flip it right into the leg, just like that. You want to do it to the other side, that foot, flip it in the leg, just like that. Step number 13. I want to take these blue panels now, right there and right there. It's this white piece right here. I want to close these panels up. You want to make sure they go over the foot, just like that. Click it right into place. Going back to the other side. Get that blue panel, close it up, and make sure this white piece kind of clicks right into place, just like that. Step number 14. I want to take these light pieces now and rotate them out just like that. Going to the other side, rotate it out, just like that. Step number 15. I want to take these leg pieces now. I want to turn them out just like that. And just like that. Step number 16. On the side of Soundwave, you got a porthole right here. A little tab right there. Okay, once you go ahead and do that, when you go swing it up, so you get that tab right in that porthole. Just like that. I'm going to do that to the other side. You get that tab right here, you got that porthole right here. You want to swing it up, make sure it goes right into place, just like that. Step number 17. You got this panel with all these buttons on it, you have to go ahead and flip that up, just like that. Now in step 18, you want to flip Soundwave over. Underneath that panel you just flipped out, you got two white panels right there, there's a hinge joint right there and right there. You want to go ahead and flip those both out, just like that, and just like that. Step 19, you want to make sure you got a little tab right there and right there, and a porthole right there and right there. You want to flip that panel so it goes right into place just like that, and just like that. Step number 20, I'm going to push Soundwave all the way to the back. I'm going to go ahead and flip them around also, just like this. Because the first accessory I'm going to go ahead and grab is this concussion blaster right here. Concussion blaster, you want to take the silver part right here. You want to push it right into the barrel just like that. Bottom of the blaster, you have a peg right here. On Soundwave, you have a porthole right there. We're going to plug that blaster right into that porthole just like that. The next accessory I'm going to go ahead and grab is this actual blaster right here. Top of this blaster, you have a little hinge joint right here. We're going to fold that blaster up just like that. Got a little peg right there. Right in the middle of Soundwave right here, you got a little porthole. Plug that blaster right in that porthole, just like that. The final accessory you're going to go and grab is this sonic cannon. There's nothing left to do the sonic cannon. It's this peg right here. You want to go ahead and put it right in that porthole right down here. And now you have all of Soundwave's weapons stored while in this cassette. For Soundwave's 21st and final step, all you're going to really want to do is turn them all the way around. And now you have Soundwave in its full cassette player mode. Now I'm going to go ahead and convert Shockwave from his robot mode all the way to his Cybertronian spaceship mode. But the first step of that transformation, we're going to take this chest piece right here. You want to bring it up just like that. Step number 2, you got his head right here. There's a hinge joint right there. I'm going to kind of push his head in just like that. Step number 3, we're going to take that chest piece now and flip it right back into place just like that. Step number 4, get this backpack right here. You want to go ahead and bring this backpack up just like that. Step number 5, I want to take this wire on his form right here. I'm going to unplug it just like that. Step number 6, you want to turn Shockwave all the way around here. You got this backpack piece right here. You want to take this backpack piece and flip it open just like this. Step number 7, you have these arm pieces right here and right here. We're going to bring them up and into the backpack just like that. We're going to do it to the other side, bring the arm up and into the backpack just like that. Step 8, now you're going to go ahead and take that backpack and close it back up around the arms just like that. Step number 9. We'll take Shockwave and turn him all the way around. You get these leg pieces here. You want to go and rotate them all the way around, just like this. Once you go and do the tail of the leg, go and rotate it around, just like this. Step number 10. On the inside of these legs, you have these leg panels right there and right there. You got a hinge joint right here. What you want to do is you want to go and flip that open, just like that. Get to the other side. On the inside of the leg, you want to take this panel and flip it open, just like that. Step number 11. Once these thigh pieces and collapse them right into the leg, you can do that, pulling them out, just like this, and bring it down into the leg, just like that. Get to the other side, to that thigh piece, there's a hinge inside the leg, bring it in, just like this. Step number 12. On the inside of the leg here, got a tab right there, you got a porthole right there. So make sure you bring everything together, just like that. Step number 13. A couple tabs right there and right there. Portholes right here. So make sure you tab those right into those portholes, just like that. Step number 14. You got that hose right here. You plug it right into that piece right here, just like that. Now for Shockwave's 15th and final step. We're going to flip Shockwave over. We got this piece right here. There's a hinge joint. We're going to flip this piece all the way out, just like that. And up here on the top of this tower right here, you get these wing flaps. We're going to bring that up, just like that. Got the other wing flap. You want to go and bring it up, just like that. And now you have Shockwave in its full Cybertronian spaceship mode. Now I'm going to go ahead and convert Megatron from his robot mode all the way to his tank mode. But the first thing you want to do before you transform any of your Transformers, you want to remove all the weapons and accessories. So I'm going to take his tank turret spear, unpeg it, put it off to the side. Because the first step of the transformation, then once you take his fist, inside his forearm, we'll go ahead and rotate it right into his forearm, just like that. Get the fist right here. The empty forearm, rotate that fist right in the forearm, just like that. Step number 2. You want to take Megatron's fusion cannon and rotate it all the way up, just like that. Step number 3. You want to turn Megatron all the way around here with this backpack. You take that backpack and lift it all the way up, just like that. Step number 4. Right here you got a couple of hinge joints right there and right there. Then what you go and do is untab his shoulders, bring them back. Top of the fusion cannon you got a peg right there. On a form you got a porthole right here. And make sure they come around and meet and just peg that right into place, just like that. Step number 5. On Megatron's backpack, on each side you have a tread right there and right there. I'm going to take that tread, swing it out just like this. Go to the other side of that tread, swing it out just like this. Step number 6. Now you're going to take that backpack and straighten it out just like that. Step number 7. This whole top piece right here, you got a hinge joint right there. We're going to bring this all the way down just like that. Step number 8. You want to turn Megatron all the way around. And you got various tabs and portholes. I don't know if you can see that right there. There's a tab right there. Inside his shoulder there's a porthole right there. There's a tab right at the front of the tank. Inside the tread there's a porthole right there. I want to make sure everything kind of lines up. I want to put that in place. Go to the other side. You want to take that front end and you want to go ahead and tab that into place just like that also. Step number 9, this bottom half right here at the torso, just go and rotate that all the way around, just like that. Step number 10, once you take these panels right here in the leg, I'm going to bring it down just like that. Go and do it to the other side, bring that panel down, just like that. Step 11, just take the legs right here, Go ahead and put them in splits just like that. Step number 12. Get this hinge joint right there and right there. You want to go ahead and bend them at the leg right there, just like that. Do that to the other side, kind of bend them at the leg, just like that. Step 13. I'm going to take these legs now. You kind of want to rotate them into the thigh, just like this. Do it to the other side, rotate that leg so the thigh goes right into the leg, just like that. Step 14 asks for you to close those panels back up, just like that, and just like that. Step 15, you got a peg right there and right there. A couple portholes inside the tread right there. You go ahead and put that right into place, just like that. Go ahead and do it to the other side, kind of peg that right into place, just like that. Step number 16, I'm going to flip Megatron over and you got his feet right here. You're going to take the black piece and flip it right into the silver piece. Just like that. Get to the other side, take that black piece and flip right into the silver piece, just like that. Now in step number 17, get these feet right there and right there. I'll bring them down just like that. Next thing I want you to go ahead and grab the tank turret spear. Get this gray piece right here. Go on and peg it. This little peg right here. And bring it down just like that. Step number 19. You want to grab that panel that you removed from the tank turret spear. Get a couple of tabs right there, right there, right there, and right there. Inside Megatron's legs, in the front of the tank, you got this porthole, or makeshift portholes right there and right there, right there and right there. What you're going to want to do is grab this panel around. You kind of want to fidget it around so it goes right into that spot, just like that. You kind of want to push it together, just like this. Step number 20. You want to turn Megatron all the way around. Next, you want to go ahead and grab that tank turret spear. On the back of that tank turret spear, there's a couple of slot holes right there, and there's a peg right there. Well, for a Megatron, a couple of slots right there, there's a porthole right there. You want to take the tank turret spear, with the spear facing down, slide it under the tank barrel, and you want to snap everything in place just like that. Now for Megatron's 21st and final step, all you're going to do is take that tank turret, turn it slightly, and now you have Megatron in this full tank mode. Now that's Soundwave in this cassette player mode, and Laserbeak in this cassette mode, and on my display table, just want to go over some of their play features and accessories. And as you saw while I was transforming Soundwave, the instructions had me put the weapons and accessories already on Soundwave. And it was really cool because they had the sonic cannon and the concussion blaster transforming the batteries, much like the Generation 1 version of Soundwave. Unfortunately, with this version of Soundwave, you don't have that compartment that Generation 1 had where you can store those batteries. Because this version of Soundwave is actually a retool of Siege Soundwave, which actually transformed into a Cybertronian spaceship. And that version of Soundwave was retooled later on for a Netflix version of Soundwave, which was released exclusively through Walmart. And a retool is where they take a mold and they make modifications to it to do something different. So they did a lot of changes, and you know, I did take my Siege Soundwave and I tried to transform him into a cassette player because he did have, you know, the tray and the buttons. And you can do that, but it just doesn't fit in real cleanly. You know, like the little tabs and pegs that kind of hold everything into place, and you didn't really have that with the Siege Soundwave. But when they retooled him for Netflix, they included all that, and they added some other features where it kind of made him look more like a full cassette. But like back here, you still have a lot of the remnants of the Siege Soundwave, which I still think is pretty cool. And if you're gonna have Soundwave displayed, you know, you're gonna have them displayed like this. But from the Netflix Soundwave to this Soundwave was more of a redeco because they did more of a color scheme that more matched the animated model from the Generation 1 cartoon series. Another cool play feature is you have this button right here, and they engineered it so when you push this button, the cassette tray opens. You take Laserbeak and you just put them right in that cassette tray, much like you did with the Studio Series Blaster. You go and you close it up just like that. And if you wanted to pop it back open again, it opens right up. And the really cool thing is he's also compatible with the Siege Ravage. And I do have that on hand. I don't have my Siege Laserbeak on hand, because I do believe he fits in there also still. But I think he's nice and tight. Let me see if I can just pop him into place, just like I did Laserbeak. And it just closes right up. I don't think the door, yeah, the door actually pops open with Ravage too. Really nice. So I'm going to take Ravage, put him off to the side, because I do have my Studio Series Rumble and Frenzy on hand. First I'm going to try Rumble. Put him in the cassette tray. So I know they did release a Siege version of Rumble and Frenzy. I did not get my hands on them, unfortunately. And this cassette's a little bit thicker than the Siege and the Nemesis Bridge version of the cassettes. But they do still close. You know, it just takes a little bit of effort. But when you push the button, it does not pop open, unfortunately. I don't know if it's the thickness of the tape or if the weight of the tape kind of prevents it from opening up. But it's a really cool play feature, and I'm glad they incorporated it and made it compatible with the War for Cybertron series, the Studio series, and Legacy also. It's really, really cool. We'll close this up. And he's a little bit tighter, but I mean, he is a redeco of Rumble, so essentially he's the same figure. I think it's really, really cool. But I'll go ahead and take all these cassettes and put them off to the side, because I want to go and rotate this around so you guys see what they look like from all angles. It's a really nicely done figure. I'm very happy I got it, and I know that the aftermarket price for the Netflix version of Soundwave was just unaffordable. I just didn't see myself paying money, because I knew eventually they were going to release Soundwave down the road, you know, whether it be a retooling of the Netflix version of Soundwave, or whether they're just going to redeco it and sell it under a different toy line. Now that I have Shockwave in this Cybertronian spaceship mode and on my display table, I just want to go over some of his play features. And this version of Shockwave is actually a redeco of the Siege Shockwave. Because the Siege Shockwave, his color scheme more matched the Generation 1 toy. Well, this version of Shockwave more matches the animated model from the Generation cartoon series, which is really nice because you got the gray barrel, that light purple here, and you got that light gray throughout the characters. It matches the cartoon series and the movie. Very nicely done. But as we all know, Generation 1 Shockwave transformed into a space gun. Well, the Siege version transformed into a spaceship, but had additional parts attached to it, which is really nice. They attached to the barrel and attached to the side of the blaster so that it looked more like a ship. Well, this version of Shockwave did not come with those accessories, which kind of pushed it more into a Voyager class type figure, because the Siege version of Shockwave was actually classified as a Leader class figure. But without those features, I thought maybe they would make him the space gun, which is very doable through this version of Shockwave, which I'll show you in a moment. But without those accessories, there's really no point in keeping him that Cybertronian spaceship for some reason. But let me go and show you how to convert him into the blaster. And this is more my transformation. I did not find this online. It's not put in instructions. It's not a secret transformation. It's something I came up with on my own, because as a G1 purist, I cannot see Shockwave transforming to anything other than his space gun. I know, like the newer Cyberverse and all that, he transforms into like a spider type robot, but Shockwave to me is that blaster. But you take these wing flaps right here at the top of this like bridge, you just bring them down just like that. And right here, you flip over Shockwave, you get this little piece on the top of the barrel right here. Just flip that right back in. And now you have Shockwave in his space gun mode, as seen with Generation 1. And this is the closest rendition I could find. If you guys know any other transformations that make it closer to that space gun from Generation 1, just please leave a comment in the comments below. I want to go ahead and rotate this around so you guys can see what it looks like from all angles. So it's very nicely done, and it's very close to that space gun mode from Generation 1. Now that Megatron in his tank mode, just want to go over some of his play features. And this Megatron is beautifully done. I mean, you look at the metallic paint luster right there. I mean, it's very nicely done. Much cleaner than the Siege version, because he is actually a redeco of the Siege version of Megatron, which was more of a grayer, duller color. And there's a lot of battle damage. And I will bring out that version of Megatron for the robot part of this portion, this review, do a side-by-side comparison. But I'm not going to do it with the tank version because it's going to be redundant, and the only difference between the two figures is the paint scheme. And you see a lot of battle damage with the Siege, but this one's very clean, and it's nice to have a clean version of Megatron because a lot of Siege figures did come out with a lot of that battle damage deco, and now that a lot of those figures have been released in at least my definitive version of the figures, except for maybe Springer. Springer's the only one I have that has not been re-released in a cleaner redeco, but they are releasing Springer for Studio Series later on. But this Megatron is really nicely done. The turret does move around, which is really nice. And you do have the wheels at the bottom of the treads that roll, so you don't have to worry about damaging or scratching up the bottom of your figure right here or any deco damage. Very nicely done. But I really enjoy this Megatron. Let me go and rotate around so you can see what it looks like from all angles. Very nicely done version of Megatron. And I know a lot of people are kind of upset that they did not make a blaster or gun version of Megatron. But I mean, the tank version is really nicely done, and I would actually prefer Megatron being a tank had he been released as a tank for Generation 1. Now there's Soundwave in this robot mode, and Laserbeak in this Condor mode, and on my display table, I once again want to go over some of their play features and accessories. First, I talk about the Sonic Cannon. In order to arm Soundwave with this Sonic Cannon, a little 5mm peg on the bottom of the cannon. On her shoulder, you have a 5mm porthole. You just plug that cannon right on the shoulder, and now you have Soundwave armed with the Sonic Cannon. As he looked in the Generation 1 cartoon series, movie, and the toy, the Sonic Cannon was his weapon of choice for his shoulder accessory. It was really nicely done. I mean, you see a lot of the paint deco inside the cannon, as you can see right there. Nice little paint deco right there. A lot of great mold detail. And as we saw earlier on, it transforms into a battery, which I thought was really cool. Unfortunately, this version of Soundwave does not store the batteries anywhere. Like in Generation 1, you have this backpack right here that opened up and you can store the batteries in, which is really cool. But the next accessory we're going to talk about is this Concussion Blaster. And as you saw earlier on, this Concussion Blaster actually transforms into a battery. You just push this piece in just like that. And just like the Generation 1 toy, you can store the battery in the back somewhere. But in order to transform it into the Concussion Blaster, you just push that tab in, pull that part out, and we're going to arm him with this blaster. And the bottom of this handle right here is 5mm peg. Each one of his fists is 5mm porthole. Pretty standard through a lot of the War for Cybertron Studio Series and Legacy figures. The last accessory I'm going to bring out is this blaster. And this blaster was a blaster that was released with Soundwave for Siege. And this blaster was not typically a blaster that he used in Generation 1, but it just folds up and it gets stored on his back. You want to go ahead and take this blaster, because you got this handle right here is a 5mm peg. His fist again is a 5mm porthole. You just put that right into his fist, and now you have Soundwave fully armed. But I'm more a G1 purist, and this weapon did not appear in Generation 1, so I'm going to take this weapon, put it off to the side. Because I'm going to take Laserbeak 2 and put him off to the side. I'm going to do a side-by-side comparison between this version of Soundwave and the Siege Soundwave. Because earlier on I mentioned how Siege Soundwave was a whole different mold, which, as you can see right here, they look very similar in robot mode. I mean, the paint deco, and there's some mold detail in the front here that looks a little different. But the differences are more apparent when you flip them around because, like I said earlier on, this version of Soundwave transforms into a Cybertronian spaceship as opposed to this one transforming into a cassette player. And I mean, you see a lot of the similarities with the figures, but there's a lot of mold differences too. And it can be incorporated in the transformation. You could actually try to transform Soundwave, this version of Soundwave, into a cassette deck, because you do have the buttons up here. You just kind of fold the legs up and the arms back, but it looks a little odd, and I'm glad that they did some of that retooling for the Netflix Soundwave, which was released for Walmart, and later on this is redecoed for this version of Soundwave. So it's nicely done. You see a lot of the metallic paint here. The one thing I did not care about for Siege with a lot of the figures was they put battle damage on a lot of the figures, which kind of bothers me because, I mean, it's understandably that, you know, the War for Cybertron was kind of a grueling thing, But when Earthrise came out, they kind of redid it. They did away with the damage deco, which I was really happy with. And when Kingdom came out, they also stayed away from a lot of the damage, because as we saw with Galvatron came out with battle damage. Then later on, when he was released for Legacy, he had no battle damage, which I was very happy with. But like the engineering still carries through with the trays there, you know, and the inside of the chest still has the same mold detail. I'm going to take him and put him off to the side, but I want to go ahead and bring back Laserbeak. And I don't have my Siege version of Laserbeak up, because the cool thing about that version of Laserbeak was he was actually the Cybertronian version, where he did not look like a condor. He still transformed into a tape, which is very odd, but he was not a condor. Because as we all know, the Cybertronian transformation for Soundwave was like a lamppost. So I don't know why the Siege version decided to make him into a spaceship, which blows my mind. I want to go ahead and bring in Rumble, Frenzy, and of course Ravage. And this version of Ravage is pretty cool. And I know the only cassette tape I'm missing from the initial run is I believe his name is Buzzsaw. You know, I'm going off of memory, of course. And Buzzsaw is being released with the later version of Soundwave, and I think that version of Soundwave is being released for Legacy. So I'll have all 5 cassettes, but I'm hoping that maybe they did some retooling with Soundwave, because the only remnants of the Siege Soundwave that is left of this version of Soundwave is this piece right here. And this is part of the spaceship, so I don't know why they just didn't recast or retool new forms. But there's a lot of stuff they could have done with this figure to make him more like a cassette tape, and I think it was more of a rush job to kind of get that transformation out there. And I think they could have actually incorporated that transformation into the Siege version, but for some reason they did not. Because as you saw earlier on with Shockwave, you could transform Shockwave into the Cybertronian spaceship, but you had the option to turn him into the space gun. And I wish they could have done that with the original Siege version, but you know what, I'm happy nonetheless that they actually released this version of Soundwave. But let me go and rotate this around so you guys see what this figure looks like from all angles. Very beautifully done figure. I'm very happy with it. I'm glad I finally have my definitive Soundwave. Now that Shockwave in this robot mode and on my display table, just want to go over some of his play features. And as you can see, he does not have really any accessories, because the Siege version of Shockwave did have a lot of accessories, and this is just a redeco of that version of Shockwave. And the paint scheme more matches the Generation 1 animated model from the cartoon series and the movie. And I really do enjoy that. The only problem is I do believe in robot mode his backpack was not gray, but in the transformation, the barrel of the blaster or the space gun is gray. So I'm not sure if that's just me or maybe that's my memory playing tricks on me, but I do remember the backpack being a dark purple in robot mode. But you know, you didn't get any of the accessories from Siege. You know, you had the extra arms, you had the backpack that snaps on top. Really cool. You know, Siege was a really cool, had a really cool concept when they had those additional add-ons to Shockwave. Did not include that with this version of Shockwave, but I do have that version to do a side-by-side comparison without the accessories. And you can see the differences and the similarities between both figures. I mean, both figures are identical. This was a little dusty. It was on my shelf for a long time, and this was my definitive Shockwave. And you know, both figures are identical. It's actually just a redeco, so there's no differences between either figure. I think it's really cool that they have that hose right here. You know, it's an actual like rubbery plastic where you can actually functions as an actual hose, or cord, or whatever you want to call it. Very nicely done. You can see the light piping in the top here. You can see Shockwave blinking, and when I believe when he talked, the light would go on and off. I'm going off memory. And the nice thing here about the chest piece right here, you have the translucent plastic right here. That's very reminiscent of the Generation 1 toy, which I do have, and I'm not going to do a side-by-side comparison because this review's long enough already. I'm just going to do a side-by-side with the Siege version, because that's what this whole review is about, the differences between the Siege and why there's more value in this Nemesis Bridge set than what people would expect, because it being more of a redeco, retooling, whatnot with this whole set. But I would say that this version of Shockwave is my new definitive version of Shockwave. Now, I mean, I do like this version of Shockwave. his color scheme more matches the Generation 1 toy, as opposed to this one more matching more the animation from the Generation 1 cartoon series and the movie. Both figures are great. I noticed that, you know, since I got this figure, I do notice that the gray here is yellowing a little bit. And I know that's a problem that's been online. I don't know if this has the gray plastic that Hasbro's using for their product just yellows over time, which doesn't really bother me too much. You know, and I know a lot of people are just painting over those parts of the figure with a gray paint. We're going to put them off to the side, because this version of Shockwave, and this review is about this Shockwave, but I'm going to go and rotate him around so you guys see what it looks like from all angles. Very enjoyable figure, and I would say this set is still on sale, so I would highly recommend picking it up just off Shockwave and Soundwave. And now I'm going to get into Megatron. Now that Megatron in his robot mode and on my display table, I once again want to go over some of his play features and accessories. First by talking about his tank turret spear. In order to assemble his tank turret spear, you can take this plate right here. In front of this plate, you got this 5mm peg. On a spear right here, you got a 5mm porthole. You take this plate with the peg and plug it right into that porthole and make sure that the groove part is on the bottom here. And now you have this tank turret spear fully assembled. In order to arm Megatron with this spear, put this peg right here. On his forearm, you have a porthole right there. Now take that spear and plug it right into his forearm, just like that. And now you have Megatron armed with this tank turret spear. Pretty cool. It's nicely done, and it's got the color scheme on this version of Megatron pops. And my Megatron's a little loose, so I'm going to go ahead and just be very careful to fall over while I'm rotating him around. I mean, as you can see, it's painted with a silver metallic paint, and when you angle it in the lighting, you see it kind of shine a little bit. Really nicely done. This is my definitive Megatron now, because I do have a Siege version of Megatron, which I want to do a side-by-side comparison. Let me go and take this tank turret spear and put it off to the side, because me being a G1 purist, and I know Megatron, G1 Megatron did not transform into a tank, but I think it's pretty cool that, you know, to have a likeness to the robot image of the anime model from Generation 1 cartoon series and movie, where this Megatron looks just like he did in the, you know, in the comic book, cartoon series, whatnot. I'm just thrilled to have it. Unfortunately, not having him transform into his Walther P-38 gun is a little disappointing, but you know, you got toy laws that prohibit that from happening. But I'm gonna go and bring in my Siege version of Megatron, do a side-by-side comparison. As I mentioned earlier on, the one thing I did not enjoy about Megatron was the paint scheme, but now seeing them side by side, I do see a big difference in there's some molding difference which I did not know before. There's some different head sculpts. So you see the scale difference too. These are actually two different figures, believe it or not. You know, now that I have them side by side, I did not notice that before. So they did actually do a different mold for this version of Megatron, which is just blowing my mind, because that's the first time noticing that. Even the backpack right here, you see the tank treads are a little bit different. And this version of Megatron looks more like a Cybertronian version. Because I did not get my hands on the Earthrise version of Megatron. You know, that was during COVID, and there was not a lot of, you know, Transformers being distributed, and stores were very limited when it came to what they got in and their capacity, so I couldn't really get into any stores when I was out in California. So I missed out on whatever wave Megatron was in. I know the Quintesson Judge was there too, but I got the Quintesson Judge through that special set that Hasbro Pulse released. So yeah, this Megatron is actually a different Megatron. I did not know that, which is pretty cool. And I'm glad I did a side-by-side comparison, because I thought the only difference would be maybe a paint deco, because I knew this one was gray. But looking at them side by side, and this one's more cartoon accurate than the Siege version, but I have to say, wow, that's pretty astounding to see that. It's pretty cool. I'll go and put them off to the side. The next accessory I want to go ahead and bring in is the Nemesis Bridge Throne, or the instruction referred to it more as a captain's chair. But I'm going to go ahead and seat Megatron in a seated position, because this is actually the same throne that was included with the Studio Series Starscream, the Coronation Starscream. And Megatron does fit into this, even with his huge backpack, which is very, very nice. And it looks really, really cool. And this is actually the captain's chair that was used on a Nemesis, which is the ship that the Decepticon used to, crash land on Earth when they attacked the Autobots. When they went aboard the Ark, Nemesis crashed, and so did the Ark. I'm going to go ahead and bring in Shockwave, bring in Soundwave, and I'm going to go ahead and bring in Laserbeak. Because now you have the Nemesis Bridge Set. I'm going to go ahead and rotate this around so you guys see what it looks like from all angles. But if you guys found any of the information in this review valuable, please like and share this video. Also, if you really enjoy my content, please subscribe to my channel. And while you're there, click the bell to be notified of any future videos. I want to thank you guys for watching Steele's Awesome Toy Collector Review. I'll check you guys out next time.